5 Suncorp Super Netball starts at Ken Rosewall Arena. Who muscles up here? Giants or Magpies? Good evening, everybody. Matt Russell in commentary alongside a couple of dynamic mid-quarters. Now, dynamic commentators, Matty Brown, Kim Green. Kim, both of these teams out to go back-to-back for the first time this season. What a reward to try and find some consistency early on.
Yeah, absolutely, Matty. I think the Giants are coming out here with lots of confidence, and as we heard Jiva in the pre-game, they know they're up against it today. So it'll be interesting to see how they start, and I think whatever team settles in this first 5 minutes will definitely set the tone.
It's been a very settled Giants lineup this season. Harton and Dwyer, the shooters. Hay, Jamie Lee Price, Amy Parmenter in the mid-court, April Branley and Tilly McDonald with the defensive role in this one first up. And as has been already set out brilliantly by Hannah and Maddie and Kim, the Giants with a commanding record against the Magpies, having won 13 of their 14 matchups. Nelson and Garvin in the circle for the Pies. Brown, Jovic, Brazel, the mid-court. Jodie Ann Ward and Jiva Mentor. So like the Giants, Kim, the Magpies rolling with a very settled 7.
Yeah, they certainly are, and that is something that they're, have to really start to build with, because when you look at the bench, they're not really going too quickly to the bench to find anything else. So definitely need a good start here as we see the Giants running on.
It's called Little Giants Round. We've already had a toddler race. We've stepped up the age a little bit as the Giants take to the court and meet with some Giants of the future.
Gosh, that's amazing. And these girls will just be ear-to-ear smiles for the rest of the day, that's for sure.
You can hear the atmosphere in Ken Rosewall Arena. The home fans, very netball intelligent. They know the record of their team against the visiting Pies. And how cute is this? Great initiative by the home club, the Little Giants.
And Maddie, these are Julie Fitzgerald's grandchildren out on their own court.
We don't see Julie showing a lot of emotion, but I bet you there's some there now. An extremely proud grandmother. They're Little Giants now, but they'll be Giants for life if Grandma has her way. So some nice pre-game activity by the host club, and the scene is set. Centre pass to begin round 5 of Suncorp Super Netball. Let's go. Game 1 of the round. Giants Magpies into Thunderbirds Vixens. What an evening on Fox Netball ahead. Molly Jovic looking for Shimona Nelson, and that's sufficient from the visitors to get us going. Molly Jovic, is she an underrated centre, Kim?
Yeah, she certainly is, especially defensively. She really gets into keeping those players nice and high and staying in nice structures for the defence end.
How do the Giants answer that opening goal from Collingwood? Jamie Lee Price leading numbers across the stat sheet this season for the Giants. Maddie Hay looking for Harton. They're working well together. And Jiva Mentor called out of it. The battle of the English Roses. Mentor on Harton, just one of the matchups in this one we're looking forward to, Kim.
Yeah, it is. And, the smarts of just Joe Harden alone. It'll be interesting to see how Jiva Mentor is able to use Jodie Ann Ward. Brazel keeping it in play there.
And now Jamie Lee Price with a deflection. Can't complete the game, but straight away, Maddie Brown, we see some urgency from the Giants to disrupt Collingwood.
You do. In attack, they were struggling a little bit to get it down. Obviously, you saw ease in the Magpies' attack end, but that double defence on the centre pass, we know how dominant Brown can be in that first phase. So obviously, Price and Parmenter shutting that down and forcing the Magpies back door.
Yeah, something that we've noticed this season is Garvin sitting back on second phase, Mads, and allowing Kelsey to get that first phase to defend from Giants, just stifling in that circle then.
Turnover from Garvin, retrieved by Tilly McDonald. And can they score on the back of the game? You bet you they can. Sophie Dwyer for Joe Hart. What a combination they are.
And look at that Harvey Norman replay of those two defenders going up with two hands. But that feed was just really well timed from Sophie Dwyer, just allowing that fake to happen, and another beautiful feed from Jamie Lee Price into Harden.
Harden gets away from Jodie Ann Ward, who's been defending impressively so far this season. Can she do a job again today? Jodie Ann Ward for Collingwood. The Magpies just looking to settle here. So they go to their holding shooter. Shimona Nelson with a rare miss. What about her percentage this season? Second only to Janelle Fowler in the West. And it's hard going for the time being for the visitors.
It is, but it's only early days, 2.5 minutes in. They're just finding their feet. We did say that first 5 minutes of a game is really important. But Collingwood just getting that one under their belt and going flat to the post, really important.
The media makes a lot of the record head-to-head in the matchup. We know that Collingwood haven't beaten the Giants since 2017. Does it invade the athlete's mind? I'll say it doesn't, Kim. Here's Sophie Dwyer edging the Giants further ahead, but it must sit in the back of your mind.
100% it does. You can say it doesn't all you like, but especially with the added pressure of not being able to get too many wins on the board at Ken Rosewall Arena as well. It's always tough.
It was a narrow win for Collingwood back then. Their only success, 59-56. Normally when the Giants have won, they've done so by a margin. Nelson. Coming to this game, she was 181 from 187, a 97% shooter. Second only to Janelle Fowler's 220 from 223. That's how to hold and shoot. Sophie Dwyer doing well, though, for Julie Fitzgerald as the opposition coaching combination plots her downfall.
Smart work from Kelsey Brown there. She just said, go through the back, allow me to get a little bit deeper. That stifling defence, especially through that mid of that attacking third. She recognised it, sent it back, created more space for herself.
Sophie Dwyer and Sophie Garvin at the other ends of the court. Amy Parmenter so good last week for the Giants, the player of the game, as they came from behind late to beat the Thunderbirds and continue the Giants' domination of Adelaide. So back-to-back weeks they play opponents who they have a very good record against. Here's Jovic, leaving her goal third, busy through the mid-court. Kelsey Brown comes in. Garvin looking to go back to Brown. There's a deflection from the Giants. And now Garvin loses it over the goal line. And listen to the crowd.
Well, the Palmy Army will be here screaming out for that one. A nice couple of tips from her early in the game.
Branley for Parmenter, the long ball. Maddie Hay passing to Dwyer. Well, she's done so often this season. Now to Harton. Again, Jiva Mentor called out of it. It is 6-4 to the home team. Over to you, Maddie Brown. Nearly just over 5 minutes gone. What are you seeing?
Well, at the moment, obviously, they're a one-on-one out the front, the Giants' defence, but watch Branley as you see her sag back into that double. They're trying to shut down Nelson. Oh, Jamie Lee Price coming out with the goods. The energy here from the Giants and the intensity and the intent. Oh, another bad pass as we see on the Harvey Norman replay. But it was the defence that I was talking about on the Giants. They're doubling back on Nelson, which is getting her a little bit on the move and not being a focal point at the post.
Yeah, you're so right, Mads. They're doing a little bit of work in that defence circle as we see Giants just making it really easy, taking that width to then find an angle on that pass.
Started with Jamie Lee Price, who made the Nissa Net Points Team of the Week again. She's in the rolling Team of the Year. The Australian Diamond looking to cement her place for South Africa. Stacey Marinkovic and Anne Sargent here in their capacity with the Diamonds watching this game. Little slip up from Maddie Hay invites Collingwood.
I mean, it's hard to catch with your face, Maddie.
Yeah, a big shot that rebounded off the head, out of play. Chelsea Brown was running out of room as well, works in nicely with Garvin. Quickly to Nelson. And they're back within one, the Magpies. So neither team able to get away early. We thought we might be in for something special here, Kim, and nothing so far suggests otherwise. Close from pillar to post, in your opinion, as this time it's Maddie Hay collecting. She gets one back.
Yeah, it's been messy. A lot of messy moments out there, that's for sure. Sophie Dwyer with a beautiful shot just to calm the troops down a little bit as you see the Harvey Norman replay. Maddie Hay getting that intercept close to that sideline.
3 minutes from the Suncorp super shot, and Sophie Dwyer just starts feeling it from range. And again, there's a slip up from the Pies. Sophie Dwyer, again from distance, not the kind roll she was after, but the rebound falls for Jo Harton. And now the Giants 9-6 leaders, Maddie Brown.
I mean, as I said, it just seems to be getting louder here. The energy from the Giants, they've come out firing. They want to stand their authority. You see them go backdoor on that centre pass. You mentioned, Kim, it is really scrappy and messy. Is it the defence? Is it... What a long-range shot there by Harton. But what are you putting it down to, these mistakes?
Yeah, I think it is just the intensity out there. I'm looking at all of the players, and they're taking in the big ones. They've really got a lot of pressure on them in these first 5 minutes, and I think at the moment they're just trying to find their feet.
So Shimona Nelson for Collingwood, after we saw Jo Harton shoot from the super shot arc before we hit the final 5 minutes. That's a show of confidence in the shooters and their ability at the Giants at the moment.
Yeah, and we've spoken about it pre-game. They know how to nail it from those long bombs, and that's a lot of confidence from Harden from the get-go. And as we see with Sophie Dwyer, even if they're going to post, it still is bringing confidence to those mid-quarters.
Is that what you just said?
I just said, like, it feels like we're chasing, and then when we're if we have a moment where we're one-on-one, one of us isn't, and then there's that easy release. So I said we're committed to the four of us going hard one-on.
So for the next 3 or 4 minutes, go 1v1, get on the inside of them, and you're pushing them wide, and then you're finding that body angle to absolutely deny them from crossing. So inside line and push wide, yeah? Make sure we're closing in here a little bit harder. So close, play around with the jump on the shot, but also the lean. They wait for you to fall, and then they sight the post. So change that around. On a rebound opportunity, let's make sure we're pushing back, we're protecting that drop space. We don't want to get underneath the post too much. If they've got a better position, push them under a little bit more.
Fairly self-explanatory there from the Magpies coach Nicole Richardson, but I'll defer straight to one of Australia's great mid-quarters. Kim Green, take us through what the Pies are looking to achieve.
Well, the great thing was, Brazil went with an issue. She's like, okay, I don't think everyone's committing to whatever we're doing. If it's one-on-one or in a box or on a wall. So straight away, Nicole Richardson back to one-on-one on a centre pass, pushing wide, get on the inside, and let's get them wide. Everyone commit.
Jamie Lee Price with centre pass to Maddie Hay. Let's see how the Giants come out of that HCF. Tactical timeouts. Risky pass collected by Hay. Drawing the penalty from Ash Brazel. Dwyer for Harton. Back to Hay. More whistle. Harton wants it high and gets it. 1-2 with Hay to set Harton up and score. Maddie Brown was listening in to the Giants timeout. What was said?
Well, they were really happy with how they'd obviously started, but they said, we're coming into that power 5. We know what we're meant to be doing there. Harton actually turned to Dwyer and said, you know what we're getting the defence on is that strong lead out and then that change of direction back. So don't be too quick to release the pass. Maybe add in a fake, maybe add in a ball, and then find the other person under the post. And they've been doing that really well.
It's the Giants by 4 goals. Just under 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Last week, the Giants beat Adelaide 59-54 on the back of a big finish to the game. And the match leaders in terms of Nissan net points, 3 Giants on top. Jamie Lee Price in familiar territory, Kim, on top.
Yeah, she's doing a great job as you see that incredible release, really well timed, nice and high, letting it drop into Harden. What I'm loving is Jamie Lee Price on this centre pass. I've been watching it for the last couple. Kelsey Brown is finding it so hard to get out.
Another win for the Giants. Is there a goal on the end of it? They look slick. They're in sync in this first quarter generally and looking better as the quarter goes on after some wobbles early from both teams.
Well, and
it
now,
must be said.
Yeah, and now they're finding that patience. Really great timing and smart work from Jo Harden to allow it to go into that super shot period.
About 3 seconds in to the first Suncorp super shot period. The Giants deliver. Sophie Dwyer, she's now 23 of 34 this season. Up above 66%. What great shooting from range. So we're out by 6. That was tough going for the Collingwood.
And Maddie, that footwork from Tilly McDonald to get around the body, confuse the space, go up with 2 hands, it really pushed Nelson to that baseline.
They came into this game, the Giants 1 and 3, like they were last season when they powered into the prelim final, only to go down by a goal. Joe Harton scores again for the Giants. Of course, earlier in last year's finals campaign, it was the Giants eliminating Collingwood 55-48. This is their first meeting since that playoff combat. And the Giants with a really handy break now, 15-8. Sophie Garvin holding that ball for a long time and giving it up meekly in the end. Well, while this first quarter, the longer it goes, the better the Giants look and the clunkier Collingwood find themselves.
Yeah, you're so right, Maddie. I think the great thing that they've been able to do as a pack is really dominate Kelsey Brown's influence on the game.
Well, let's go to the other half of the Brown combination. Maddie, might be difficult to comment on that, but I'll give you an opportunity.
No, I'm happy to respond to that. As you said, they've done their homework, the Giants. They know that she's such a creative player with the ball in hand, so they want to smother her and stop the supply that she provides to those goalers. In this other end, down the other circle, you see the Giants working on and off that pulley system in their goal circle. The defenders' heads for the Magpies are just constantly on a swivel. They don't know who to shut down because this power time is just about to go off, I think.
Yeah, it's really, really quick, and what they're doing really well is finding those angles to just keep creating really cool space. It feels like the Giants have all the time in the world. That's when you know you've got the team on your side, but you've also got the confidence to actually execute.
Joe Harton, 100% all one-point attempts or one goal shots. When it comes to Soph Dwyer, she's 5 of 6. Sophie Garvin, there's a confidence boost for Sophie and Collingwood. Saw that run a moment ago. 8 of 10 goals scored in a stretch there by the Giants. And they're out by 7, trying to make it 9. Oh, Joe Harton effortlessly, nonchalantly. Joe Harton nails her first super shots. It's the Giants by 9. Less than 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. Jovic for Shimona Nelson, jumping up above Garvin. Now she goes back to Sophie Garvin. Super shot for super shot late in the first quarter. Shimona Nelson hasn't taken a super shot this season. It's been all Garvin in that regards. She's 19 of 36, so just above 50% for Sophie Garvin. Here she is again. Cross court for Jovic. Nelson, not her distance. That's better.
Yeah.
At post.
Quick transition from the Magpies, able to get it down. That's probably the most free I've seen them play so far.
With a minute left in this first quarter, let's wrap up the first period through your eyes. Maddie Brown, can you sum it up as Collingwood look to score again through Nelson?
Look, you mentioned it, they have been quite clunky in their attack and defence. They're just in a bit of chase mode. Coach Richardson's in the box saying, have a crack at that first ball, to flood down in defence. I think they just need a bit of a reset, a breather, because down in the Giants attack, and they just look like they've got the ball on a string. So it'll be interesting to see whether they should start doing a bit more of defensive box for the Magpies to try and slow that attack coming in.
Collingwood have scored 4 of the last 6 goals now, despite that most recent score by the Giants. And the Magpies have the final say. Last week, it was a big third quarter that set up their win against the Firebirds. Shimona Nelson makes the difference 5. Only seconds left here. The Giants knew it. They took the risk. They gave it to Jodie-Ann Ward. Kelsey Brown will run out of time. And that is an entertaining, if not perfect, first quarter. A good one for the home team. It's the Giants out by 5. 20-15. That was Nicole Richardson at half-time. She's right, the Giants did hit them hard. They led by 9 goals. Collingwood gets it back to 5 as we head into the second quarter. And Kim Green, you had a keen eye on the goals from gains stat in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, the Giants are sitting at 100% with 6 games. So 6 games to 2 at the moment, and they're scoring off every single one of them. So you hear Nicole Richardson talking about the fight and the intent and energy. The Giants are certainly bringing it right now, but can they continue to do it?
Jamie Lee Price led all scorers in terms of miss and net points, 37 in the first quarter. Her season high is 111, so if she keeps up that clip, she'll race past her season high. Jamie Lee Price, just one of the providers for the Giants in the first period. Shimona Nelson, good take, slick pass from Kelsey Brown as well. Sophie Garvin shows her appreciation. Might go over to Maddie Brown, who was listening in to Julie Fitzgerald during that quarter-time break. Maddie?
Well, you talked about the Giants coming out nice and strong. They talked about the tempo and this kind of calmness and control in their play. Let it go when it's there, but also know when to back it off and go again and add in those extra passes. Keely Devery, their defensive coach, was also saying still be active as you see Matilda McDonald moving her feet around, trying to make Nelson second-guess that space. So I think you'll see a little bit more control from the Giants in attack, but they still want to have intent and purpose in defence.
What a score from the Giants. Plenty of ball movement in the end. Sophie Dwyer basically went from super shot range. Sophie, 6 of 7 for the game. The majority of the shooting done by Jo Harton, a perfect 12 of 12. And Nelson leaves another shot short. Gets her own rebounds. Better second time around.
Yeah, she has a little giggle to herself, trying to calm her nerves, probably. You don't often see that from Nelson right under the post. I want to talk about this Giants centre pass. The Magpies are almost doing a wall. They're recognising it early, going back through the wing defence, goal defence, allowing them to get that space, to get that little bit more depth on second phase.
So Collingwood's defence shooting or forcing the Giants to shoot from range both times early in this second quarter. Is there something they're doing defensively that's working for them now, Collingwood?
Yeah, well, they're certainly keeping them high in the circle, but at the moment, that you see this box set up here, you're really trying to keep them from coming through the middle, and that's exactly what Jo Harden just did. So the work out the front is not good enough at the moment, but once they get in the circle, they are keeping them high.
Dwyer looking for Harton. Jodie-Ann Ward up and proving difficult. Harton over the hand of Jiva Mentor. And we're going to have a little sort out of the net at the Collingwood ends. All done. Umpire's happy. Play on. Centre pass, Molly Jovic.
Oh, and that is strong defence from the Giants. You can just see moving parts the whole time. They've got that wall, but the structure is still fluid.
Nelson receives a beautiful ball, perfectly weighted from Garvin. So 5 goals the difference at quarter time. 3 minutes gone in the second. And we're basically on par, 22-18. Mentor over the back of Jo Harton.
Look at those penalties, Maddie. 15 to Collingwood, 8 to the Giants. So Giants certainly staying more in play.
And now they give it up. Tilly McDonald with the intercept. Quickly down the court. Maddie Hay pulls up. Allows Jamie Lee Price to come into the action. Now Harton. A bounce ball for Sophie Dwyer.
And it's the spin on it. But let's take a look at the Harvey Norman replay. Matilda McDonald flying. She'll want a photo of that on her wall, I'm sure.
Hay back for Amy Parmenter. Now Jamie Lee Price left unmarked. Jo Harton scores, and as she was last week in Adelaide, Joe Harton animated again. She led the side brilliantly through the fourth quarter last week, Joe Harton. How big will last week's win in Thunderbirds territory prove to be for the Giants? After 3 losses to open their campaign. Now Garvin, of course, Collingwood started with a win against the Swifts. Last week, too good for the Firebirds to go 2-2 through the first month of the competition. Off the hand of Molly Jovic. Jamie Lee Price for Harton, working in the back space. More whistle against Collingwood. And more long-range shooting from Sophie Dwyer.
Yeah, she's just cool, calm, collected out the front there, just doing a job. I think the Magpies can really start shifting some things down this end. Maybe bringing the defence into the centre pass a little bit more. That's certainly how the Giants are getting the ball down. And a fumble, I think there needs to be a change for the Magpies, and Nicole Richardson needs to do it soon.
Well, Maddie Brown, what change would you make?
I can see Jackie Newton having a little bit of a warm-up. Defensively, they need to be a little bit more disciplined and stay in play. They're sitting 5 behind in the games, and the only way to actually create those opportunities is to build that pressure on the Giants. But in attack for the Magpies, Kim, you and I spoke about it at the start of the game. Brown is their playmaker, yet they're actually taking her out by not giving her those easy chip passes. They're actually playing into the defence of the Giants. So it would be good if they played it a little bit shorter, a little bit lower, and keep getting her into the game, because they're taking her out themselves.
Yeah, they're certainly paying a lot of respect to Amy Parmenter, but she is an absolute gun, so I understand it. But as a wing attack, when you are driving hard, you either need them to fake the ball or give the ball. There's nothing else. Like, give it early so that she's not so far on the sideline on that one. I think there needs to be a little bit of a change up in this attack end too. You know, there's not much to go to on the bench. When you have a look, we've got Kelly Singleton, but maybe a Maddie Hinchliffe in just to try and break something up, provide something a little bit more in attack.
And the Giants won the first quarter 20-15. They're leading the second period 7-5. There are some options for Nicole Richardson, Jodie Ann Ward, Kelly Singleton on the bench.
Oh, and that was a zone put on by the Giants, and really smart by Maddie Hay, just getting in the way of Jodie Ann Ward. And we see the change of Maddie Hinchliffe coming on to the court too, Maddie.
As we look at Sophie Dwyer, she could seemingly do it with her eyes shut at the moment. And the Giants have forced another technical timeout thanks to HCF. What does Nicole Richardson, Kate Upton, what do they have to say to the Magpies? 28-20, biggest lead of the game, 9, remember, and we're getting back into that territory now.
I think sometimes we're missing a good lead because we're focusing on one and not seeing everything around us, all right? Telling English how we got with her and push her through when to go out. Don't forget we need a bit of grind in there as well, all right? Don't be forget to go back to
At the moment, you're driving into the mess, and we just need a bit of width. So if you're that one, throw it. See where Braz and Jodie Ann collapse, and we'll fill the space around the other side of the offense. Yeah? It's really good.
You don't have to run all the way to here. But the intercept you took off Kelsey coming down on last, all right? Here we go. Let's finish this off and go into halftime really happy with ourselves, okay? Big breath, let's go.
Let's go, Joe. Working together, we're picking up all those new balls. It's been brilliant. It's been nice and composed on attack. We'll go for the one that left underneath the two. Right, here we go.
They don't want to sink from here, the Giants. Back from the HCF tactical timeout. And just repeating Little Giants round. Great to see so many little Giants in the crowd. Family-friendly time. 5 o'clock, centre pass here before we head off for the second game today. And what a game it is on paper. Thunderbirds, Melbourne Vixens. Next up on Fox Netball, 28-20. Very satisfied. The Giants coach, Julie Fitzgerald, in that timeout. Now Maddie Hay. Back for Dwyer. She looks at the target and hits it again.
Yeah, that back space is opening up nicely. You heard Jo Harden in the timeout asking her players to keep looking at that, fake it and place it up the back.
Shimona Nelson at the other end as we come back the way of the Giants. The balance between Harton and Dwyer in the shooting circle and the depth they have in that regards. Matisse Leatherbarrow, 23 of 25 this season. Add to that 7 of 11 super shots. So very sound numbers as backup off the bench.
Yeah, an absolute superstar sitting there just waiting for her time. But when you've got the two guns out the front, the two-prong attack, it's just very hard to get some court time. And when they're flying like they are at the moment, you just sit there and really appreciate what they're able to do. You're also really learning from them too. Impressive shot.
Oh, yeah. More of what we've seen now for a couple of weeks from the Giants. Maddie, we saw Nicole Richardson fairly satisfied and revving up her troops after that comeback late in the first quarter. How was she in that last time out?
Well, she wouldn't have been happy with that pass that just happened as we saw Matilda McDonald get her hand on another game possession. Jodie-Ann Ward tries to have a bit of a play as well, but she said she felt like they were quite lazy off the back line in attack, so she wanted more from Braz, more from Ward in attack. Kate Upton, assistant coach, was also speaking to Nelson, saying, stop moving so much. Be up against that body. Don't let her push you around. We need you to be that focus point. You can see her being nice and strong right now.
And Sophie Dwyer put a foot on the goal line, but they get it back. They force another error on Collingwood. So they have this joint biggest lead of the game. 9 goals to the Giants. Trying to go back-to-back after dropping their first 3 games. This only their second game at Ken Rosewall Arena after falling to the reigning premiers. West Coast Fever, 74-73 in the second round. And it was that result, Kim, that while they weren't winning, they were still playing good netball to start the season.
Yeah, they were. And I think, you know, the more you just get out there and still try and build your craft and back in the game plan, that's where you start to fire. And look at that ball. I mean, the confidence to give it is great. Now it's about the execution for the Giants. But I just want to have a little chat about Maddie Hinchliffe in the middle here. I think she provides, as we see the players coming towards, she provides really long, strong arms in defence. But in attack, she's actually brought some calm and composure to this attack end. Garvin is a little bit flustered at the moment for mine and really needs to start finding her way through this game.
Playing her 3rd game of the season, Maddie Hinchliffe, joining Collingwood from Sunshine Coast Lightning. And the penalties heavily against the visitors. We head into another HCF tactical timeout. We've seen a few of these in the first half. Giants 31, Magpies 22.
So you need to be nice and strong underneath the post, get opportunities. If she scores it, great. If she does it and you rebound, quick check. They're gonna flood on her anyway. So maybe just sink the one. We keep the ball scoreboard ticking over, but you have a crack at the 2s if it's there. Yeah. And also we can run the clock a little. Yeah. So run the clock, starve them of opportunity. Yeah. Let's go.
There's the road ahead for the Magpies, the Lightning, the Thunderbirds, the Firebirds, the Giants again, and then the Sydney Swifts, or New South Wales Swifts, broadening their borders. Right here, Giants, Magpies, the home team by 9. And the fans like it.
There's good vibes in the stadium, Maddie. That's for
Their
sure.
first win. They're here wanting their team to go back-to-back. They could get on a nice little run, the Giants, at the risk of looking too far ahead. They've got the Firebirds next week, still searching for their first win. Then the Sydney Derby against the Swifts here. Wouldn't they love to head into that derby on a 3-game winning streak?
They would, Maddie.
Garvin leaves it short. Nelson gets the rebounds. Back for Kelsey Brown. Puts it in the air, knowing Shimona will win that battle more often than not.
And great fakes by Kelsey Brown at the top of the circle there. Really was able to open up just by using the ball.
3.5 left before the big break. And now Jiva Mentor can't keep possession. Hand the ball, but nothing more. Now Jamie Lee Price at circle edge to Harton. She caught Mentor with her back to her. And Jo Harton lifts her shooting numbers. 18 of 19. And this are net points. Jamie Lee Price still powering ahead, on track for her season high. And Kelsey Brown with this big second quarter, breaking up that Giants domination. 4 of the top 5 are Giants.
Well, I was just going to talk about Kelsey Brown. She has 18 feeds to her name at this stage. So on track to be, you know, really putting in a great performance, but it's everyone else around her that has to step up now.
She came into this game 3rd in the league for goal assists, Kelsey, 82. Looking to build on that number big time in the second half today. Kelsey Brown, after a tough start to this game, feeding Shimona Nelson. Well, they finished the first quarter with a run. Can they do the same in the second? 8 goals the difference. Here's Sophie Dwyer. Cross court for Hay. Harton wants it in the air, attacks the ball. That's smart from the Giants to stem this momentum that Collingwood was trying to build.
Yeah, absolutely on that one, Maddie, because the swing of that ball was so fast, and Sophie Dwyer trying to get in the circle just opened up Harden under the post. And as we talk about that 2-prong, doesn't matter who gets the ball, they're going to shoot it.
Ash Brazel to Jodie-Ann Ward now. Garvin. Nice run by Kelsey Brown to find space. Take the pass. Hinchliffe working in with Nelson.
Nelson just standing there by herself, putting her hand up in the air. Shouldn't need any, you know, direction of where to place it.
Maddie Brown, do the Pies need a super shot right now?
They do, and they're searching for one. But as we looked at in the pre-game, Nelson hasn't put up one for the season, and they know that she's not going to come out. She's standing there, as you said, Kimmy, all alone. But here we see on the bench, we see Kelly Singleton come on. They are desperate to stay in this game, and they need to start putting up some long shots.
Kelly Singleton playing her second game of the season.
Mads, this is where I think they need to do a positional switch with Kel coming out and Garvin getting in, get her under the post, and then get the movement from there.
Singleton to Garvin for a Suncorp super shot. Garvin off the ring and away, out of play. And they crave a couple of them. 9 the difference. Parmenter. Less than 30 seconds left in the half. The Giants should control it from here and have the final shot of the quarter. Parmenter. Hay. Dwyer. Jiva Mentor called out of it. A penalty shot for Sophie Garvin, and it goes. Oh, Collingwood craved that. Instead, the Giants deliver. Rub some salt into the wounds. They finish the half with a super shot from a person who's had a super half. Sophie Dwyer, look at it again. Her shooting 2 of 2 in terms of super shots. She's 11 of 12 for the game, and well may Julie Fitzgerald stand and applaud. Her side has the biggest lead of the game. They're out by 11 goals. Giants 36, Collingwood 25, as we go to Maddie Brown.
Yes, thanks, Maddie. I'm down here with Ash Braz. It's been very much Giants dominating in the first half. How are you going to stay in touch? Because you're searching for a super shot, but just not being able to hit him.
Oh, cliche, Maddie, but we just need to go back to our game plan. If you watch the way we've been playing fast and down the middle, and what Giants have done really well from the get-go, they've forced us wide, and then that's made us disconnected. So we really need to come back together, work together, and play our own brand of netball.
On a defensive side, how are you going to get those gains? Because they're hard to come by. You're trying to force them wide or keep them into the middle?
Oh, yeah, pretty much trying to do what they're doing, force them wide, but still being able to fly for things. So it's probably not the first fly getting the ball, but the second and the third, because we know they're really clever with the ball, especially Jo in the ring. She's got the smarts, but they're happy to give that little dish ball and go long. So we need to be able to go hard at the first ball to make them go long, and that's where we'll pick them up.
Well, I'm sure the coach will be telling you all those things in the huddle. So all the best. All the best for the second half.
Thanks, mate.
Well, this is only the first course. We've still got another one to come as Julie Fitzgerald speaks to her Giants. Nicole Richardson will assemble the Pies. But next up, we're off to Adelaide. Thunderbirds against the Vixens. The Vixens with a dominant record against Adelaide. But how has Shamira Sterling shone in the first month of the competition? Can she deny the Vixens? It's next after we're done in Sydney.
Welcome back to Fox Netball. We're at Ken Rosewell Arena tonight, where the Giants' motto is, "This is our home." And tonight, the home side take a comfortable lead into halftime over the Magpies, who are in chase mode from the get-go. This is a team that the Magpies have not been able to beat since 2017. And at halftime, as I welcome in Maddie Brown and Kim Green into our chat, 36-25, the home side ladies with an 11-goal buffer. And from the very beginning, Kim, you said it was messy and it was scrappy. Why?
Yeah, it was interesting. I think both teams, as I said, were trying to find their groove, but the Giants finally found it, and gosh, did they put their foot down. And I think now the Magpies are just in chase mode on everything. Chase mode in attack, chase mode in defence.
And we spoke about it at the top. You want to set your intent, and Magpies were just behind from the start. Giants came out strong. They hit the bodies hard. They attacked the ball hard. There were bodies flying. It was messy, but they were also just, we're here to play, and we're gonna win ugly regardless.
At the stroke of halftime, we saw a standing ovation from the Giants coach, Julie Fitzgerald, as her team ran into the change rooms. And it was a super shot sealing the deal from Sophie Dwyer, who's having a super half.
And aren't they just brilliant, these two shooters? When they're on song, they just absolutely fire. And we see it time and time again, and we always talk about it, but this is their strength as a team, the super shot period, where they just get in there and they go to goal.
And they've gone early rather than waiting until the last quarter to play catch up. Let's go early. Let's hit it hard. Let's put the pressure on the scoreboard. We've seen on the flip side, Magpies are absolutely trying to find an option for the two-point shot, and they can't even get one.
Yeah. Attack is one thing, ladies. What about the defence for the Giants? And we've seen Tilly McDonald go flying for some great balls.
Yeah, we haven't spoken much about that, but you know, I love what Tilly's been able to do. Jamie Lee Price is getting a hand in there too, but what I love is April Brownlee. She's having an absolute cracking match out the front there. She's keeping Garvin to an absolute minimum, but also forcing her to throw so many turnovers, 7 turnovers to Garvin's name.
The whole defensive unit of the Giants, they have done their homework. They are making Brown work in overdrive, and knowing that there is not much support there from other players, they're shutting down that second phase from Garvin. They're trying to make them go back door, work other different avenues, and Magpies are looking to the bench going, we don't even know the answers. What are we doing? We feel so disconnected, and we're actually not even sure how we get back.
So, okay, second half, take me inside the change rooms. When you think about what you saw from the Magpies in the first half, Kim, what are they trying to do?
Well, it's an interesting one. I'm not sure if they're quite sure as to what to do. And when they go to the bench, you know, Nicole Richardson saying that Giants aren't going to be able to match them for intent and energy. But I don't think that's the case. I think they need to find some really solid structures to go to. You have a look at their attack at the moment. It's really disjointed. Not being able to find Shimona Nelson early, but also just really shutting down Brown. And we've spoken about that. Who stands up next?
Well, I think in defence, you have to go back to your basics. And that is one-on-one, hard grind in defence. Take care of your opponent, and then you can start to move into some team and unit structures. in attack, would love to see some get together. You know that basic drill where you just read off each other? Go back to the basics, start executing them, focus on the process, and the result will come.
As we take a look at the match stats as they sit at halftime, take a look at the penalties, 28-15. That's a glaring one for me, but as the experts, what's jumping out at you, Kim?
Well, the gains for the Giants, 10-4 with the Magpies. Turnovers again, 10 for the Giants, 15 from the Magpies. It's just not good enough.
And you even talked about the gains. It's also that percentage of conversion of those gains. They're sitting at 10, but they're up over that 80%, which is just what teams are after. They want 75% plus, but not enough ball from the Magpies, and they're not going to stay in this contest if they can't get their hand on some.
They lost to the Fever by 27 points in round 3. Nicole Richardson, as she addresses her troops, does not want it to blow out that much, but we'll have to see how the second half unfolds. Everyone here at Ken Rosewell, though, loves netball, so Suncorp would like to know what netball means to you, and they want you to submit your entry in 50 words or less alongside a video or an image and send it to foxsports.com.au/Suncorp, or just scan the QR code on your screen and you might win a family membership to the Suncorp Super Netball Club of your choice in 2024. Now, this is Tegan Crannery's entry. Now, this showcases how important netball is to her because she has heaps of support around her, and her family cheer her on and encourage her to try new strategies, which helps make her believe in herself. I tell you what, when we think about belief, Nicole Richardson, that is what she's telling her team at halftime. But the home side, Julie Fitzgerald, she enjoys 11-goal lead into the break. Centre pass is coming your way next for the second half, but live now on Fox Sports and on KO is our fourth quarter episode with our special guest, the veteran in her 25th year of coaching. It's Julie Fitzgerald. Make sure you check it out on your channels or wherever you get your podcasts.
Let's talk about the other players that you brought across, starting with Jamie Lee Price. She was very invested in the Silver Ferns system. Was it hard to get her to come back home?
It was a big decision for her. Her family was moving back to Australia, but of course they moved to Queensland, so it wasn't exactly that she got to come with her family. And I remember saying, I'd love you to come and to be the best that you want to be. You want to play against the best. But I also understand I can't guarantee you that you'll ever be a diamond or that you'll ever even make our World Youth Cup team because you'll be coming in late to a pathway that's very well established. And I really admire the fact that she was game enough to take the chance. And of course, she did go on to play for Australia at the World Youth Cup. She was the player of the tournament and managed to be a diamond. So it's all worked out very well for her. But in saying that, she is such a determined athlete. She is so hell-bent on being the best that she can be. I had no doubt that if she had the talent, she'd get there.
Good to have you with us at Ken Rosewell Arena. The young Giants fans are jumping in the house because their team has the biggest lead of the game at halftime, 36-25 on the back of a sensational shooting clip from Sophie Dwyer, Joe Harton. They lead the intercepts 8-2, the gains 10-4. They've scored from 8 of their gains. Jamie Lee Price leads the nets and net points. Kim Green, it's all going the right way for the home team.
Yeah, it certainly is, but if we've had a look at anything with the Collingwood Magpies in particular, they know how to come out of a third quarter. We saw it last week, 23-8. So they do have the capability to come out firing in this third quarter, and I know the Giants will be very wary of that.
Young Giants round. Great to see so many of them on show here today. A fantastic initiative by the home club. You mentioned the 23-8 third quarter by the Magpies last week. It was the biggest margin in a single quarter since early 2020. Can they do it again? Collingwood, after a rev up from Nicole Richardson at halftime. We'll get to Nicole in a moment, but this first possession, can the Giants score on the end of it and maintain the momentum they were able to build and keep in the first half? Sophie Dwyer was dropping them from everywhere, including this range, and she does it again. Nicole Richardson, there's much to fix in the second half. You're an experienced coach and good enough to do that. What are the key areas you're looking on early?
Not that.
On cue.
Yeah, on cue. I think from an attacking perspective, we're just trying to get a little bit more depth and trying to get a bit more separation between Tilly and April. They're doing a good job on doubling back onto Shimona. So we'll try to separate there. And then in defence, it's as simple. We just need to see ball and get ball and be accountable for our own player. So we'll see what we can create in this third quarter.
Well, I'm loving those strategies, Nick, but last week we saw that third quarter turnaround. How do you replicate that now?
Oh, it's just going back to basics, I think, Kim. I think our school executions let us down a little bit. Giants have been had a little bit more intent in this first half, so we need to match it and go better. So hopefully we can do that.
And you're picking one Giants player that you need to shut down. Who is it?
Oh, geez, they're all on fire here a little bit. Obviously, we've got to find a way to stop JLP. You know, she's a nice, strong body and causing a bit of havoc there in the attack end.
As always, thank you, Nicole.
Cheers, guys.
Shimona Nelson scores for Collingwood. So a really important third quarter. Does the home team pull away and put the game to bed, or is there another third quarter fight back from Collingwood? We've heard from the Magpies coach, Joe Harton. And again, it drops. So Sophie Dwyer and Joe Harton start this third quarter showing us they're confident to shoot from anywhere, anytime. And a win here again for the Giants. Little fumble, no problem. Cleaned up by Parmenter. Now Maddie Hay.
It almost,
loose.
It almost seems like the first 5 minutes of the first quarter, really messy. But already the intent from the Collingwood Magpies, with Garvin coming out on first phase, is really setting up something nice. Now it's just about executing.
15 turnovers, general play turnovers from the Giants in that first half. 6 of them from Sophie Garvin, as you mentioned at the break, Kim. So they'll look for better ball security. Sophie, no doubt, well aware of that as she shows hands, but they go to Nelson. So Shimona given a breather in the first half as Kelly Singleton came on to work with Garvin. They've gone straight back to their holding shooter in the third quarter. And it's Jamie Lee Price for Joe Harton again.
And smart work by Harden just to get that little in and out shuffle shot, but Mentor is having a look. You can see their feet moving a little bit more in this defence end.
Jovic confident to put it in the air and use the height of Nelson. April Brandley. So much experience, a long ball for Harton. Jamie Lee Price on the move. Dwyer turns, sets the sights, and bang, it goes again. (14 of 15 for Sophie Dwyer. Nelson always shoots at a high clip, but normally at post, so nearly 4 minutes gone in this third quarter. Maddie, how's Collingwood come out in your eyes?
Well, obviously they're just chipping away slowly, steady. We see Ash Brazel limping in the background there of play. But for me, what I'd love to see, I think it's great that she's gone to her starting 7. But if it's not working, I'd love to see Garvin go back to goal shooter and maybe a Singleton to goal attack, just to get a little bit more movement. We've seen a lot of general play turnovers from Garvin, so maybe just getting her on that hold might give her a little bit more impact in the game.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mads. I think there definitely needs to be a change-up, but at the moment, I feel like Collingwood is starting to find their feet just slightly. It should have come a little bit earlier for sure, but they are getting to circle edge now, and that's something that they haven't been able to do in that first half.
Parmenter trying hard, a deflection out of play, then contact on Brown. It all accumulates, it all puts doubt in the opponent's minds. That's why she's such a great wing defence. Amy Parmenter, the Palmy Army here as always to support a gun of Australian netball. Amy Parmenter. Matilda McDonald getting it back, and Brandley has Garvin knock it out of play.
And a great lead up by the Collingwood Magpies, really keeping the Giants up nice and high, forcing them to have multiple passes in that goal third.
And now Brazel hand the ball, couldn't control it.
And that's how you do it, Maddie. You have to build pressure to allow someone like the likes of an Ash Brazel to go and have a crack. So that needs to be more of that. Build the pressure, have a crack.
This is some of the best defence I can remember in the game from Collingwood. Taking the Giants a long time to work their way into the goal third. Once there, it's fairly slick to Harton, and the score follows.
We take a look at that Harvey Norman replay. It's just that look to Maddie Hay to open up hard and under the post.
So they need more defensively, don't they, Collingwood? And a barometer of their defence, Maddie, is Jodie Ward. We'll get back to Maddie in a moment, as they can't stop the Giants there. So Kelsey Brown for Nelson.
And Giants with the last 3 goals.
Yeah, Maddie, Jodie Ward, what are you looking for?
Well, currently she's only sitting on 5.5 Nissan net points, so well below what she's been producing in the last couple of rounds. We know she can get her hands on ball, but she's just struggling to find. So once again, Giants identifying who the main threats are in that attack for Magpies and defence, Brown and Ward, and doing a very good job in shutting them down and shutting their impact out of the game.
Yeah, Jodie Ward, her season average is nearly 80 Nissan net points. So to be on 5.5, it goes to show how far below what she has given us this season she is this afternoon, but still a lot of time for her to work into the game better and accumulate those points and get back closer to her average, which has her the leading goal defender this season in terms of Nissan net points.
Yeah, she needs to start moving, though, if Collingwood are any chance of getting the win over the Giants. I think at the moment she is just getting caught a little bit on being on the opposite side, especially on a centre pass. They're setting up a wall, and the wing attack and goal attack from the Giants is setting up opposite sides. She's in chase mode. They have to come up with something a little bit different on the centre pass.
I hope you're locked in and looking forward to a big evening on Fox Netball. Straight after this, off to Adelaide. Thunderbirds, Vixens. So much hype around the Thunderbirds. The Vixens beaten grand finalists. 2 of the top teams in 2023 Suncorp Super Netball. Up next, Price, centre pass, Parmenter. April Branley in control, out by 13, but not if they keep throwing it away. And there's Jodie Ward with an intercept. Jovic quickly to Kelsey Brown. Now Nelson, fluent down the court. Collingwood, some of their best play.
100%, this transition was so quick. All the Giants almost walking. But look, all down that right side of the court, it was flying down. No way Matilda McDonald could do anything on that last feed.
Brown back to Garvin. So can they goal here? Build some momentum. Spark a run. Shimona Nelson at posts. So a crucial possession here for the Giants, just to settle it down.
And here's that wall again. You can see Sophie Dwyer on one side, Jodie Ward on the other side. They can do that slide with Jiva Mentor in the circle, but if it's going down too quickly, it's too hard for her to get.
In behind them waits Jo Harton, the experienced England international, knows how to deal with that defence. Well fed, she provides the goal. And more whistle, this time April Branley called out of play. Garvin steps closer and scores. Like we mentioned earlier, the road ahead for Collingwood off to the Sunshine Coast Lightning, or hosting the Lightning, I should say, next week, then in Adelaide. Lightning and Thunderbirds ahead for the Magpies.
Garvin just being told in back play that that was a warning for breaking on a centre pass.
Experienced umpire, Bronwyn Adams, one of the officials here today, as Dwyer scores from a very comfortable range for her. Nicole Richardson, Kate Upton, looking at the clipboard, crunching the numbers, plotting and scheming. How does this comeback unfold if there is to be one at all?
And patient work here from the Collingwood Magpies. Just making sure that they get to circle edge to feed that ball. Has to be more than one option, though.
Nelson in the air, over the top of Brandley. That looks like the bailout option. If in doubt, just put it in the air and rely on the height, the size, the leap of Shimona.
Yeah, we see that in the Harvey Norman replay, nice and high, but it was the work of the Giants really pushing them up high to make that ball.
Holding called on Brazel. And then the pass from Maddie Hay. She rushed it a little, threw it to no one, and they give it back to Collingwood.
A little bit stagnant in that goal circle. It looked like no one wanted the ball. Maybe a little bit of complacency. Giants probably want to have a bit of a discussion about that and make sure that they're starting to find that groove again.
The Giants won the first quarter by 5, the second by 4. It's 12 all in the third. But Collingwood need to win this term. They need an edge here. No time like the present, Maddie Brown. It's still 11 the advantage to the Giants.
Well, this is where Magpies it has to be go time on this super shot. But at the moment, they have one option. As you see, Giants run away with momentum and get another gain possession. If Giants go down here and score a super shot, oh, she just misses. I thought she had a hot hand, Harden.
But it's off Jodie-Ann Ward, Maddie, so back to you.
It is go time for the Magpies here, and watch the Giants absolutely flourish with this two-prong. They know how to move the ball around and slot a nice big one here. Can we get one from Dwyer? Oh, we've got a bit cold.
And this time it's Collingwood ball. Jiva Mentor pointing to a slippery patch on the floor. So is there a super shot and a few super shots in the arsenal of Collingwood? They tried to deliver on that front in the second quarter and couldn't. Sophie Garvin is the option. Brazel for Jovic. Garvin was looking for Jovic. Parmenta, again, proving a nuisance, unable to win possession.
Well, we haven't spoken much about Parmenta, but 2 intercepts, 6 deflections to her name. Just incredible.
Nearly 65 missing net points. Just going about her business efficiently, as is Shimona Nelson. But going up by 1, going goal for goal with the Giants won't get it done. 10 the difference. Minute 40 left in the third, and there's a reach in by Sophie Dwyer, nearly enough for possession. And April Brandley this time made sure of it.
Yeah, look, Maddie, I think there needs to be a change with Garvin. She's looking pretty tired out there, and that lead was so flat.
Now Jodie-Ann Ward gets it back.
Yeah, Jodie-Ann Ward has just really started to fire, but like I said, I think in attack there is definitely some changes that need to be made. Oh, just shoot it. You have to have a crack.
Yeah, she was there in the Suncorp super shot arc. The 1.9 metres of 2 points. A minute left in the third, 48-38. Collingwood in possession. Kelsey Brown to Jovic. Garvin ran heavily into Brandley. Bounced away, Nelson. Well, here she is. From super shot territory, it was an air ball.
Not ideal, Maddie, on that one, and that will just, you know, put a little bit of less confidence in her head going into the next shot as well. Great take by Jamie Lee Price. Gosh, she's strong in the air.
Under pressure from Ward, who's trying to step it up. Parmenta. Price. Hay. They're getting open comfortably, the Giants. Now Harton to Dwyer. They look like winners, don't they?
Yeah, and they just needed to take the one. That's just, you know, really smart work from the Giants. Joe Harding could have gone for the super shot, but decided not to.
She leaves it to Sophie Dwyer, who's given us an exclamation mark already at the end of a quarter today. Not on that occasion. It went close. Time beats the Brazil pass meant for Nelson, but they've held their own in the third quarter. The teams 13 each. Collingwood needed more. The Giants in control. 49-38 as they set their sights on the final quarter.
Pretty good job on the pickups as well. I reckon we're getting on the most of this ball. Let's make sure we keep that up. Cannot afford to get tired here, all right? We want all that energy back so we can finish this off. And this crowd loves it. If you do something good, they're going to get behind you all the way.
She's been coaching elite netball for 25 years, Julie Fitzgerald, and she's positive, she's upbeat, she likes what her team has done. She's just urging them on, Kim Green, for one big final quarter in front of a very appreciative home crowd.
Yeah, the crowd in here has been fantastic so far, and she's definitely wanting the players to just really embrace their energy out there too. I think they've got a little bit of work to do from that quarter, a 13-all quarter, and I know Julie Fitzgerald will be really disappointed in that, especially in that the attackers getting on defence really quickly in transition, so keep an eye on that one.
After going 0-3 to start the season, they're within reach of back-to-back wins now. The problem for Collingwood, they haven't won a final quarter this season. Their goal differential in fourth quarters is -17. So it would need to be a big turnaround on what they have given us in fourth quarters already. But it's possible. How do they start this period? Little fumble there by Garvin. Kelsey Brown to Shimona Nelson. And they should come up with the first score with Matilda McDonald called out of it. Nelson delivers 49-39.
The energy intent from the Magpies there was really, really clinical. Took their time to get to the centre to the goal circle, but yeah, you could see the prelims and the energy.
Hay saw arms in the air from Joe Harton, instead went back to the centre third, as they do again here. Branley, Jamie Lee Price now, Harton. Lots of ball movement here from the home team. Harton and Hay. Here's Dwyer with Ward making contact.
Well, a box set up from the Collingwood Magpies, and it definitely made the Giants have to go wide, especially on that feed.
Well, Maddie Brown, was the positivity from the Giants at three-quarter time matched by urgency from Collingwood in the break?
Well, they said that they had to go out there, have a crack. It's all about attacking that first ball, be aggressive. Coach Nicole Richardson said, let's go hell for leather. We've got nothing to lose. And when we need to in that, obviously, power five, she asked Nelson to be a little bit more threatening rather than just standing under the post. So Magpies, Joe Harton gets a little tip. They need to be a little bit more proactive in attack and don't expect someone else to do the work. Do it themselves.
This is only Collingwood's second game away from John Cain Arena, their first. A heavy loss, 27 goals at RAC Arena in Perth. They're in danger of another double-figure defeat here as Joe Harton adds one more. Here's the Harvey Norman replay, the way they came up with possession. Joe on the end of it, and now they're looking to go back-to-back. Worth keeping an eye on the record books. The Giants' biggest win against the Collingwood in 6 years of complete domination is 15 goals. At the moment, they're out by 13. Within reach of their biggest ever win against the Pies, having taken 13 of their 14 matchups, Kim.
Well, they're certainly finding that attacking flow early in this quarter. So, maybe.
Something for the statisticians to watch, as Shimona Nelson says, not on my watch. Maddie Hinchcliffe back on for Ash Brazel.
I think this is a good change, Maddie. You know, there has to be something a little bit different out there. You can't keep going with the same processes and expect a different result. A nice release from Maddie Hay in that backspace, but Maddie Hinchcliffe will bring that height in that wing defence position. You have a look at her driving down court. She was free as a bird. You've got to give it.
Garbin, Jovic on the move. Maddie Brown, what do you make of that move?
I think it's great, and I can also see Ash Brazel standing in the box ready to come on at centre. I think they do need a little bit more drive in that centre. They've got to attack hard in attack. I think this is a really good change to try and make these changes early in this quarter, so that if you're going to make a change in the goal circle for the 2 points, you've obviously, the rest of the lineup is fairly settled.
So Maddie Hinchliffe to wing defence. Ash Brazel back on at centre. Molly Jovic taking a seat.
Well, we heard Nicole Richardson talk about Jamie Lee Price as the player that they need to shut down. So now is this the opportunity, putting Brazel against her? A little bit more, I guess, maturity, more experience, and certainly can get up in the air against her.
Harton, slick pass for Price, who goes back to Jo. She was under pressure and threw it straight to her England Roses teammate, Jiva Mentor. Collingwood quickly up the floor. Shimona Nelson trying to position herself more appropriately. The big split brings her close to the post, and there's another one for Collingwood. But it's been around that 9, 10, 11 goal margin for so long. How do they create a real run and give themselves a hope as we enter the super shot period? Harton. Seems funny to think of an opposition having a hope in super shot period, given the way the Giants have delivered on the 2-goal front this season. Coming into this game, they'd attempted 67 super shots. More today as we see McDonald with a win in the air. But those 67 super shots, way ahead of the Firebirds 38, the Fever 37. You can see there the reliance and the success the Giants can create in that 2-point arc.
Yeah, they do, and we know, we speak about it all the time, but, you know, it's the moments that matter, and just then, Sophie Garvin threw a turnover. We see the Harvey Norman replay. Tilly McDonald confusing space, but Garvin hands on head, not getting into defence quick enough.
Adding today's numbers, they're up to 73 super shots and dropping them at above 60%, so a real weapon for Julie Fitzgerald.
I'm just seeing back play Amy Parmenter with a cramp, it looks like, in her calf. Stretching it out.
Amy Sliger about to come on for her second game of the season. Amy saw time in round 1. That was the game where they were without Harton and Hay and went down heavily to the Sunshine Coast Lightning, but since then, with the return of Hay, with the return of Harton, applause like this has been more common than not.
Well, Jamie got a hand in, which then went off Ward's fingertips and out, and she was cheering on that one. If I was the Magpies, I'd be putting my foot down right now, because the Giants haven't had to make a change. They've been forced a hand. Now every opportunity, they have to make the most of it.
So I'll pick up here for Collingwood. Brazel and Garvin. Parmenter off the floor for the Giants with cramp. Collingwood in possession. And it's Nelson again winning the jump on Matilda McDonald. That's a tough assignment for Tilly today. Parmenter's cramp during your long and glorious career, Kim. How many times were you afflicted with cramp? And was it pickle juice your go-to cure?
Oh, well, after my ACL, I actually lost a hamstring, so I cramped all the time. Pickle juice was the magic little liquid. It works fabulous little wonders.
It works well, but I bet it doesn't taste
It's
well.
awful. Flash. You have no taste buds for at least 5 minutes.
Jamie Lee Price. Back for Sliger. And Dwyer just beating the fake to beat the attempt from Jiva Mentor. In control, the home team, and the crowd is enjoying it. Sliger with hand to ball, but Kelsey Brown will keep it for the Pies. Here's the Harvey Norman replay, Kim.
Yeah, nice little double play from Dwyer. She's just playing with so much maturity.
Garvin, good for Collingwood at the other end. Yeah, worth reminding viewers that the Sydney sider is only 21 years of age. In her 4th season of Suncorp Super Netball with the Giants. Diamond number 187, Sophie Dwyer. Made a debut last year. Game 2 in the Constellation Cup against New Zealand. What a career she appears to have ahead of her. Sophie Dwyer. Maddie Hay in possession here. Harton with the ball. And Maddie Brown, you're noticing something about this Giants attack.
Well, that was a really good box set up by the Magpies, forcing all of the Giants wide. The Giants just need to make sure that they continue to chip the scoreboard over, just each play one at a time. The other thing is not to protect your lead. You want to actually continue to attack it and keep moving forward. So don't just wait, don't tire. This is the time to push ahead for the Giants and even just know how they can win and push ahead in a game, even when they are leading, not just coming from behind.
Yeah, you're so right, Mads, and the Magpies are winning this quarter 8-7, so Giants really need to start putting their foot down. We've seen the inclusion of Sligo come in, but she's had a great impact already. But it's the attack. You have to keep taking those ones.
These teams finished 3rd and 4th at the end of last season. The Giants 8-6, Collingwood 6 and 8. Falling to the finals on percentages. And as Sophie Dwyer looks at her target again and scores again, if they go on to win, which they should from here, both these teams will have the same record, 2 and 3, through 5 rounds of this season. It's been a one-sided rivalry, dominated by the Giants. And Nelson scores. It was 13-all in the 3rd, where 9-8 in favour of Collingwood in the 4th, but the big first half where the Giants built that 9-goal advantage has had them in control ever since half-time. Time for an HCF tactical timeout. We'll listen in to Nicole Richardson.
We are right in this game, and this game is alive. So, Shimmy, you've done a great job, but we're going to bring, because they're smothering Sophie, we need 2 two-pointers on, right? You've done a great job, well done. She's going to come on. So now, on the 2-point, we just get good separation. So remember now, Cal can come out on extension. So different, Cal come out on extension, and then you enter deep, right, refeed. We go for these 2-pointers. Where possible, we're probably trying to get Cal more on the 2-point shot. So we've still got the rebounding threat. They're going to have to be accountable for both of you now. Right? Yep. Guys, come in. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. This last 5 minutes, we fight like hell. Right? Because we close this gap or we take this game. It is here for the taking if you want it and you've got the courage. Let's do it.
No pressure, Kelly Singleton go out and win us the game, says Nicole Richardson. Kelly only playing her 2nd game of the season, the 17th of her National League career. She's in the team because of injury to Nia Allen, and as you heard there, Shimona Nelson, not a Suncorp super shot taker. She's missed her only attempt of the season. That came tonight. So Garvin and Singleton to try and win it for the Pies on the back of 2-point shooting. Hinchliffe draws the whistle. Dwyer, Maddie Hay for Harton. Can't complete the catch, and the door just opens a little for Collingwood.
It does, and there's the power 5. So now it's time to start building, getting that ball to the circle. Nicole Richardson said, if it's there if you want it and you have the courage.
Amy Sligo close to winning ball again. Here's Garvin. You heard the coach. They want to set up for the Suncorp super shots. Kelly Singleton, over to you. This one jumps out, but she'll get another one. She'll get another go. Similar to the first shot, over the top of the hole and away. McDonald draws or concedes the penalty, so Sophie Garvin for a super shot. Still they can't get them to go.
Well, another opportunity there, Maddie, with April Brownlee's foot just being out. Wasting up some energy.
Singleton again away from the target. And the game is bouncing away on them. Haven't they had some shots? Finally, Kelly Singleton, 4th time around.
And their centre pass as well, Maddie. So let's see what they do with it here. Garvin definitely needs to get into that circle and create the rotation.
If the Giants look up at the scoreboard now and see 57-51, maybe there'll be a few nerves, Maddie Brown.
I think so. You can see Coach Richardson up in the box getting nice and vocal, a little bit of a smile there. You said, as I said earlier, it's Giants' game to lose, so they need to continue to attack it, and that's not the feed to do it on.
Yeah, complacency on that, Mads. You just have to be able to put that ball out into space. The Giants certainly haven't had a good second half. Magpies just chipping away.
Collingwood winning this quarter 13-8, but April Branley winning ball for the Giants. That would have been huge for Collingwood to sink another super shot and have centre pass.
Yeah, that was a moment that was missed, and we talked about that in pre-game. These are the games you have to win, and when you have moments, you've got to take them.
Concern for Ward, just jarring her right knee.
Defense, you're out of play.
April Branley inquiring about her health and then telling Jodie Ann, you need to stand beside me. Let's go. 2 minutes 40 to play. The Magpies back to within 6. Jamie Lee Price now with her season high Nissan net point tally.
And Giants a little bit stagnant in their attack here. Beautiful punch up the middle from Joe Harden.
And now in the air, she sees whistle called on Ward. Garvin, well, electing not to take the super shot. They know they're going to play the percentages and close this one out, going up by 1. 58-51, time for an HCF tactical timeout. An important goal scored by Hart. Just to bump it out by an odd number.
So work that extra ball. Keep backing yourself, both of you. Got to keep backing ourselves on that 2-point shot. When they get it, they're running the clock down a little bit. So maybe our circle defenders play a little bit dumb and maybe really overplay the pocket ball. See if we can get them to throw it to post and score a bit quicker. Otherwise, you're going to have to go one-on-one accountability and shut them down to try to win ball. No space stuff.
Oh, you're listening to Nicole Richardson, and that is the tactics right there. She's saying for the defenders to pretend like they're going out for the pocket ball, entice that ball underneath the circle, underneath the post, and go and have a crack. Let's see if these defenders can do it.
Great access. We know exactly what Collingwood are looking to do. They need a flurry of super shots. 2 minutes left. 7 goals the difference. And even if they don't win that ball and the Giants shoot from post, they'll go up by 1. They're putting all their chips on the Suncorp super shot. But can they win enough ball, Collingwood? 2 minutes left. Nearly done at Ken Rosewell Arena. Then we're off to Netball South Australia Stadium. Here's Garvin. Feet comfortably in that super shot. A deflection.
Huge from Branley.
And she's up again, but the penalty shot will invite Sophie to shoot again. Garvin couldn't get the roll she wanted. It falls for Brazel. Well, Singleton now. There's 2.
Look at the Harvey Norman replay. Great footwork, staying in play, and just perfect timing from Branley.
5 goals the margin. The Giants in possession. Collingwood leading the quarter 15-9. If nothing else, they might win their first 4th quarter of the season.
Well, Richardson asking her defenders to go and have a look at something in a pocket, but there's no one in the pocket.
Jamie Lee Price, Kelsey Brown, the respective miss and net points leaders. Amy Sliger, happy to work the clock, move the ball. And Collingwood come up with possession. But is there enough time? Not if they give it straight back to Maddie Hay. Joe Harton to shoot the one, and that should seal it for the Giants. Their team leader in front of her adoring crowd bumps the Giants out by 6 inside the final minutes. Brazel for Garvin. She was looking for Ash to get it back, who does after a bounce. Amy Sliger penalised. Now Matilda McDonald. Singleton for another 2. Over the top of Branley. Well, it's too little too late, is it?
Why didn't we see this earlier? This change.
It's a question that will be asked after full time, Kim. Now Branley to Sliger. The crowd knows. They start applauding. They've been making noise all afternoon and evening. There's a prayer from Joe Harton. It doesn't matter. They've withstood a Collingwood comeback. Brave as it was, it finishes short. The Giants go back-to-back. They go 2 and 3 for the season. They've won the game 59-55. Well, they dominated the first half, out by 9 at the break. The third quarter all level. And those young fans, despite giving some nerves in the final quarter, watch their team hold on and extend this dominance. Now 14 of 15 against Collingwood. Remarkable that a matchup is so heavily slanted towards the one team. There is something about the Sydney-siders when it comes to Collingwood and their ability to win.
Yeah, well, we spoke about it pre-game, but they just came and they showed up, and there was so much, you know, effort and intensity and energy out there, but the Giants certainly have to look at that second half and, you know, fix a few things there, and the Magpies will certainly be happy with that last quarter.
So Joe Harton applauds her team. They lost their only previous game here by 1. Today they've done it by 4. And Maddie Brown is standing by with a lady who led the Nissan net points, and she's certainly a leading provider for the Giants this year, Maddie.
Absolutely she was, Matt. 112 Nissan net points, 20 goal assists, but it was the game. She had 5 games, Jamie, and 4 of them were intercepts. You spoke at the start of the game about enjoying your netball. Is that showing in those stats and how you're playing out there?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just like being confident and, like I said, enjoying it. And I think today we really did that. There was lots of smiles, and yeah, I thought we played the way we wanted to play.
You started off really, really strong, but they let him back in, obviously, in the end. Do you feel like you're playing with a bit more fear in that last quarter because they were hunting for you?
Yeah, I think we just didn't stick to our game plan. We obviously froze with the ball a bit instead of letting it go like we did at the start. So we'll have to look at that and see how to fix that, because we need to be strong when we finish games as well.
And 2 wins in a row must be good to get those under your belt. Where to from here for the Giants for the rest of the season? What do you need to do to consolidate to make sure you're there for finals?
Yeah, I think, like you said, 2 wins in a row, but we need to keep winning because we didn't have the best start. So, yeah, I think we just take it game by game and quarter by quarter.
Well, if you're playing the way that you're playing, I'm sure you'll be there right at the end. Well done, Jamie Lee. Congratulations on the win today.
Thanks, man.
Well done, Maddie Brown, and well played, Jamie Lee Price. She's concentrating, Joe Harton, on the game just won. She can exhale now. I've won back-to-back. Hannah Hollis, Kim Green, Maddie Brown will wrap up this game next. Before we go to Adelaide, Thunderbirds, Vixens coming your way next. A whole lot more still to come on Fox Netball.
Welcome back to Fox Netball, where we have seen another comprehensive win for the Giants over the Magpies. They make it 13 consecutive victories over the Victorians. The Magpies tried to orchestrate a fourth quarter comeback, but Kim Green, Maddie Brown, it was too little, too late on this occasion. The Giants now 2 wins in a row. Kim, is this the win that they needed to springboard their season?
Yeah, it certainly was. But what I'm loving about their first half attack was that they played with so much flow. Second half, definitely need a little bit more.
You can probably see they started to slow down. They weren't attacking the ball as much. They were a bit stagnant. So they need to come out strong, and maybe that's their winning recipe. Come out strong, put that pressure on, but they did let Magpies come back at the end.
We take a look at the Giants super shots. We know that this team this season and in many seasons since the super shot was introduced is synonymous with the Power 5 time. And again, they didn't disappoint, Maddie.
No, they didn't. And when it came to the crunch, they knew exactly how to execute their game plan in that power time. Magpies were searching for the answers, and then we did see it at the end, but too late. You've got to attack it a little bit early, not put the pressure on Singleton to come out.
Magpies have 10 days until their next game. They face the Sunshine Coast Lightning on a special Anzac Day match at John Cain Arena. The Giants head to Queensland to play the Firebirds next Sunday. But Kim Green, Maddie Brown, that's all from us here at Ken Rosewell Arena. The Giants are winners tonight, but game day here on Fox Netball rolls on. After the break, we head to Netball SA Stadium. It's the Thunderbirds and the Vixens.